And Senator, thanks for being with us today.
It's great to be there. It's pretty frustrating we don't have a stimulus bill done.
Yeah, I think that echoes the sentiments of a lot of Americans. Yesterday, we had Governor Sununu, a Republican from New Hampshire, on, and he said basically all 535 senators and representatives should be thrown out, that we'd have better luck if we had a brand new set in. What's your response to that? What happens? Well, there's no help that's going to be on the way for quite some time at this point.
Sure. Well, I think Pelosi has making the calculation that this is good for her and hopefully, winning elections. Republican senators, we've passed, 2 bills. Well, we've been blocked by the Democrats, but we extended the unemployment. We extended the PPP. We have money for our schools, more money for testing, more money for vaccine, more money for the post office. And the Democrats have blocked it. They did it in September. They did it last week. So it gets pretty frustrating when then they go on television and say, oh, Republicans don't want to do something. We do. What we don't want to do is spend another $2 or $3 trillion.
You don't want to do what they want to do, and they don't. You don't want to do what they want to do, and they don't want to do what you want to do. You guys have different plans. The frustration is.
Here's the difference.
The frustration is that nothing's getting done because nobody can agree or compromise.
Yeah. Well, here's the difference. And what Pelosi wants to do is a lot of non-coronavirus things. If you look at what we did, is that we were very targeted. We took and repurposed some of the money we allocated in March that wasn't being used. So we did it in a fiscally responsible manner, but we did the things people care about: unemployment, extend the PPP, help our schools get open, testing, vaccine. Those are things that Americans want. They don't want a whole bunch of liberal priorities that Nancy Pelosi has. So she's made the calculation. They'll help her November 3rd, and we'll see what happens. I wish that she was more focused on helping Americans.
Well, Marco Rubio, when we spoke with him last week, said, look, he wasn't thrilled with the bill that the administration and Nancy Pelosi were working on, or the amount of money that they were talking about, but that he'd vote for it just because he wanted to make sure something got done, that it's more important something get done than nothing get done. I take it you're not of the same opinion.
Well, I think we have to act fiscally responsible. We can, we've got $27 trillion worth of debt. We're running, even without COVID, $1 trillion deficits every year. I mean, look at the balance sheet of the Federal Reserve. I mean, we've got to understand that we've got to get our fiscal house in order. We've got issues with how do we fund Medicare, which we have to do. We have to fund Social Security. We want to make sure people can rely on these programs. And at the same time, you just can't say, oh, yeah, I'm just going to go spend whatever it takes to get the other side to agree. Let's do the things that are important. But we can't be wasting your money. Somebody's going to pay for this. You'll pay for it, your kids, your grandkids. Somebody's going to have to pay for this. So we can act in a responsible manner. We don't have to just say, oh, we're going to go spend trillions of dollars without having any idea if it's going to have a positive influence or not.
Stephen Mnuchin has said now is not the time to worry about deficits, although I agree with you at some point you do have to worry about it. We've also heard from Jay Powell, who said that it's better to do too much than too little because the economy really risks having hardcore damage inflicted over the next several months while you guys go back and forth and fight about this again.
Well, I'm hopeful maybe after the election, the Democrats want to do something responsible. But right now, I mean, if you go look at their bill, it has a whole bunch of things that have nothing to do with coronavirus. There are things we ought to debate, we ought to look at. But what we ought to focus on is how do you help the American people right now? Unemployment, extend PPP, vaccine, testing, get our schools open. That's what we should be doing now. And if we want to focus on these other priorities, we can have a debate about that. But the Democrats don't want to even do the things. I mean, just remember, Chuck Schumer's the one who blocked extending the unemployment back in August. He went to the floor to block it. How does that make any sense?
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.